In a small village in the foothills of the Himalayas, Nu sits beside her grandmother.
Since we were little, it's my grandma who has taken care of us and raised us.
Her father died from AIDS. Her mother then abandoned her.
Because my classmates know I don't have parents anymore, they often beat me and bully me.
Zhe is her grandmother and has seen her family slowly fade away. My two oldest sons died of AIDS, and my two youngest have AIDS. Her granddaughter, Nu, is now the focus of her love. My granddaughter is my greatest concern. When I think of her, I want to cry. What I'm worried about the most is after I die, no one will take care of her. Children like Nu are increasingly common. Officially, there are 3,000 orphans due to AIDS in the region. The unofficial numbers are sure to be much higher. Their family alone knows 20 to 30 friends or relatives who have died from AIDS. These isolated villages are some of the poorest in China. Nu's father had sought his fortune elsewhere. People often come to the big cities in search of a better life. Unfortunately, all too often, they find drugs. Injection drugs are very popular here. They take those problems back home with them. Nu may not remember the faces of her parents, but they left her something she can't forget, can't escape. She too has AIDS.
I have this disease, and I am so sad.
I worry my granddaughter is always sick and needs to go to the hospital, and that costs a lot of money, and I don't have it. The government pays for 95% of the treatment, but even paying the remainder is tough. Zhe and the wife of another son scrape a living out of a tiny farm. The woman is also infected with AIDS. Chores exhaust her. Her husband, still addicted to drugs, has fled. The women work raising goats and pigs provided by a local charity. They are grateful for the income. Yet, Zhe says she is tired. I am 74 years old. I feel I could not live much longer. Nu dreams of joining other children at boarding school if her grandma dies, but
I am sick all the time, so I don't go to school anymore.
her school no longer welcomes her.
If my grandma dies, I would have no place to go.
I asked Nu if she knew what AIDS was. She said no. But after a pause, she told me what she did know.
I know that this disease can make people die.
She may not know what AIDS is, but she knows more about this disease than any child should. Andrew Lee, CBC News, Sichuan Province. Jia Shui and her husband Feng Jishan are making their way to the Malaysia Airlines offices again. Just to make our request, she says. We feel our son is still alive. They begin at the dead end of a dirt lane on the margins of Beijing. They catch a bus, take 3 separate subway lines, then walk the last few kilometers. It takes 3 hours one way, and they will stay until closing time. Jia does this 3 times a week. She says she never gets any answers. Near the airport, they take a look skyward. When I hear the sound of planes, she explains, I feel uncomfortable. I really hope that the plane is his plane. Every time, I have that illusion. Jia's world changed March 8th last year when her 20-year-old son, Xiao Tao, never made it home from his migrant labor job in Singapore. Now she clings to his picture and memory. Every day I think of him, she says. I think of him coming home safely. Xia and her husband moved to this shack beside an open sewer just to be closer to the Malaysia Airlines offices. She and her husband are from the countryside several hours away.
我们每天就是这样过。
Every day our life is like that, she
虽然
says.
生活条件
Though it's
差，
difficult, whether it's cold or we don't have enough to eat, we still
我
persist.
们都能坚持。
They left their apartment and jobs at a factory and traded them for a room made from corrugated metal.
吃苦我们也不
For our child, we can do this, Feng says. We don't mind having a difficult life. Xia fears the world has forgotten about MH370, forgotten about her son, so she carries on.
我们所有家属都认为飞机还
All the family members think that the plane is still there somewhere.
我们唯一就是
Our only hope is that our child could come back. Andrew Lee, CBC News, Beijing.